Just like that, Kathy Engelbert, the WNBA, the team owners, the Players Association, in the split of an instance, all of it can change. In a split instance, all of it can change. If this injury does anything, it should be a wake-up call to the WNBA, the Players Association, the team owners, that just like that, all this fanfare, all this interest, all this newfound attention on the league can disappear overnight.
The WNBA really thought they could let teams bump, grab, and body up Caitlin Clark every single night and fans would just smile and clap like it's a school assembly. Plot twist? Not happening. After Clark got leveled like it was Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals, the reaction wasn't applause, it was outrage. Fans didn't just complain. They started talking boycotts, refunds, and accountability. What the league called letting them play suddenly felt a lot different when it involved the player driving record ratings and ticket sales. The WNBA wanted a more physical brand of basketball. Instead, it's dealing with a full-court backlash. Turns out, when your biggest draw keeps hitting the hardwood, fans aren't cheering toughness. They're demanding answers.
It was just announced that Caitlin Clark will be out a minimum of 2 weeks with a quad injury. Could this injury have been prevented? Can the Indiana Fever win without her? And what does this mean for the WNBA?
Oh, the WNBA thought it was cruising into a smooth, drama-free season. That's cute. Ratings were climbing, jerseys were selling out, and every Indiana Fever game felt less like a regular season matchup and more like a pop culture event. Then, Caitlin Clark is suddenly sidelined. And just like that, the vibe shifts. Fans are reacting like the basketball universe tilted off its axis. Social media is in meltdown mode, ticket holders are stressed, and the energy around the league feels tense. What was supposed to be a victory lap season now has a cloud hanging over it. Publicly, everything is business as usual. Privately, you can bet there are some nervous conversations happening. Because when the player driving historic attention isn't on the floor, it's not just a lineup change. It's a storyline the entire league has to navigate carefully. Calm, drama-free season? Not anymore.
Get in the back. We know Caitlin Clark was lost yesterday to an injury for at least 2 weeks. Now, the thing about it is they're going to reevaluate in 2 weeks. And of course, man, these teams, I told you earlier, these WNBA franchises that moved games like the Chicago Sky to the United Arena, you're screwed. You're done. You're cooked. Nobody is going to show up to this thing. Chicago Sky can't sell out their own 9,000 something seat arena like it is. They couldn't when they were kind of decent.
2 weeks. That's the timeline. Caitlin Clark is out with a strained quadriceps. Not a catastrophic tear. Not a season-ending nightmare. Just enough of an injury to hit pause and somehow flip the entire league narrative upside down. Her quad basically clocked out and filed for PTO. Now the centerpiece of the Indiana Fever is parked on the bench, and the ripple effect is real. The spotlight doesn't disappear, it just starts flickering. Every broadcast, every arena, every headline suddenly feels a little different when the player driving the surge isn't on the floor. And the reactions? Oh, totally calm. Super measured. If by calm you mean full-scale internet meltdown. Fans are spiraling, debates are raging, and timelines are on fire. Because when the league's biggest draw sits, even for 2 weeks, it doesn't feel minor. It feels seismic.
Oh my God, guys, breaking news. Caitlin Clark is hurt. I didn't believe it when I saw it myself. She's injured. She has a quad injury, a left quad injury. It's a quadriceps strain. And the team announced today, about 2 hours ago, she's going to be out 2 weeks at the minimum. 2 weeks. Without Caitlin Clark, this team is finished.
Caitlin Clark has a fan base that doesn't do calm. They do headlines. They do hashtags. They do dramatic exits. The minute she went down, timelines lit up. Some fans are talking emotional walkouts, swearing off games, declaring, "I'm not watching until she's back." A short-term injury somehow turned into a full-blown movement. Calls to boycott. Think pieces. Caps lock everywhere. And the energy? It's intense. Like the league personally offended them. Meanwhile, the rest of the WNBA is still very much in session. Other stars are hooping, teams are battling, storylines are unfolding. But online, it sometimes feels like the reaction is, "We'll circle back when she returns." That's the reality of having a player who commands that much attention. When she's on the floor, she dominates the conversation. When she's off it, she still dominates the conversation. Love it or hate it, that kind of gravitational pull changes everything.
If it's the latter, it could mean that Caitlin Clark could potentially miss the rest of the season. This 2-week timetable that people are running with, that's just when Caitlin Clark is going to be reevaluated. As of now, she will be reevaluated on June 9th. That does not mean, and it's highly unlikely, that June 9th or shortly thereafter is when Caitlin Clark is cleared to return.
An Indiana Fever? They're getting a crash course in life without the headliner. With Caitlin Clark temporarily sidelined, the spotlight doesn't disappear, it just shifts. Now it's on Aaliyah Boston and Kelsey Mitchell to steady the ship. Mitchell's attacking like she's got endless stamina, hunting shots and pushing tempo. Boston's battling inside, vacuuming rebounds and anchoring the paint. It's grit over glamour right now. And head coach Stephanie White is adjusting on the fly, tweaking rotations, reshaping sets, trying to squeeze efficiency out of every possession. Here's the twist, they might actually stay afloat. The upcoming stretch isn't exactly a gauntlet, which gives Indiana breathing room to recalibrate. And yes, that includes matchups with the Chicago Sky, a team still finding consistency. Clark's absence changes the ceiling, but it doesn't automatically erase the floor. The next few games will show whether this is just a pause in the spotlight, or the start of a deeper identity test for Indiana.
There's no way every team's going to come at them and try to take them out, especially without Caitlin. They're going to lose some games here, and that's going to set them back. It's really hard to believe this, but yeah, she's out. There's no other details. When did this happen? Could have happened in this game. We're not sure. Most likely at a practice yesterday. She's out for 2 weeks, man.
Let's be honest. The real spectacle lately hasn't just been the box scores. It's been watching the league navigate the spotlight shift now that Caitlin Clark is temporarily sidelined. Before the injury, she wasn't just in the MVP conversation. She was the conversation. Every debate circled back to her. Every broadcast mentioned her. Every arena felt the ripple effect. Calling her just good for a rookie felt wildly understated considering the impact she was having on visibility, ticket demand, and national attention. She wasn't only putting up numbers, she was shifting momentum. The Indiana Fever went from rebuilding storyline to must-watch television. Ratings climbed. Road arenas filled up. Jerseys moved fast. The energy around the WNBA felt different. Louder, broader, more mainstream. Now she's off the floor for a couple of weeks, and suddenly the MVP race is being reframed as wide open. Technically? Sure. Practically? It's hard to ignore how much the narrative gravity had been centered on her just days ago. The interesting part isn't whether the league survives 2 weeks. It will. The real question is how the conversation evolves. Because when one player commands that much attention, even her absence becomes the biggest storyline in the sport. And that says a lot about her impact.
Breaking WNBA news. Caitlin Clark is out for a minimum of 2 weeks with a quad strain, and our next question is, what does this mean for the Fever? So CC is going to be missing the second Sky rematch since playing them the first weekend of the season, which is definitely a bummer, but on the bright side, this injury doesn't seem too bad. It's just some quad tightness. But fear not, Fever fans. We talked to Caitlin earlier this month, and she doesn't seem too worried about the depth of this roster.
So I think our depth is probably what I would worry about the most. You know, if somebody doesn't have it one night, you're just going to the next person on the bench and the next person, and you know, we're going to have to be able to find a way to use that to the best of our ability.
Caitlin seems like she has faith in her team, but we will see how this squad performs on the court without their number one player.
Meanwhile in Indiana, the Indiana Fever are getting something they didn't expect. A stress test. With Caitlin Clark temporarily out, the offense can't revolve around one engine. That's forcing growth. More ball movement. More shared responsibility. More late-game reps for everyone else. And that's not a bad thing long-term. Aaliyah Boston gets to anchor with confidence. Kelsey Mitchell gets the green light to hunt her shot aggressively. Role players get real minutes in real pressure situations. Those reps matter. Now imagine the flip side. Clark returns rested, recalibrated, and done hearing the noise. The range is still there. The audacity is still there. The crowd energy? Probably louder than before. That's not just a lineup boost, that's an emotional jolt. And here's the real twist. If Indiana stays competitive during this stretch, steals a couple wins, keeps the chemistry tight, they won't just be surviving. They'll be dangerous. Because a team that learns how to function without its star often becomes tougher when the star comes back. So yes, Clark's quad hit pause. But the WNBA isn't slowing down. If anything, every storyline is simmering at once. MVP debates, breakout performances, fan drama, and the inevitable comeback arc. 2 weeks off the floor might just set up the loudest return of the season.